Hola! Today I'm going to be reading the first 5 chapters of my book, See Her. Ooh, she's crisp. And if you notice any cuts in the footage, it's just because I tend to stutter sometimes, so that's just what I'll be cutting out. The first chapter. First chapter is called Ice Cream. In a world of color, we sometimes find ourselves overlooking things. If I'd paid more attention, I might have noticed her sooner, maybe out on the sidewalk or somewhere in the halls at school. I mean, once I saw her, I really saw her, the kind of seeing that you never forget. Never. We met in an ice cream shop. It wasn't a formal meeting. A girl came in, her hair billowing around her like a soft purple cloud, and tossed her designer bag at a nearby booth like she owned the place. From there, she strutted right up to the counter and locked eyes with me, a pearly white grin opening up between her thin lips. 2 small vanillas, please, she said, knocking once on the counter. My eyes flickered briefly to the brown-haired girl standing just behind her, then back up to her face where I found her still grinning. Let me guess, I said, leaning back against the counter as I dried the freshly washed scooper with a towel. Your favorite color is red? She laughed then, a loud, booming laugh that bounced off the walls and drew glances from the other patrons in the shop, and I felt proud for having produced such a lovely sound from such a lovely face. I cracked a sly smile as I dug the scooper down into the soft, sweet ice cream, rolling 4 perfect scoops into 2 separate cups. After a moment, I paused, glancing around to make sure Sarah was still holed up in the back room. I'm not really supposed to do this, but... I reached beneath the counter and pulled out a small jar of purple sprinkles, tilting the contents over the cup of vanilla like a dark rain. Free topping on the house. The purple-haired girl's ever-present grin grew wider, and she nudged the girl behind her, who took a step back. Returning my focus to the purple-haired girl's dark eyes, I handed over the 2 cups. What do we owe you? She asked, reaching into her pocket. 8 for the 2, I said, waiting for them both to finish digging out their money. They forked over 2 5s, and I rounded the cash register to punch in their order, my eyes glancing up briefly to meet with the purple-haired girls. Thanks, she said as she accepted their change, waving her friend in the direction of the booth. When I noticed the purple-haired girl still hadn't left the counter, I looked up expectantly. Is this always your shift? She asked, twirling a violent strand around her finger. She seemed nervous, completely different from the confident supermodel from just a moment before. Yeah, I told her. Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. The smile returned. Great, she said, then turned to leave. Thanks again. No problem, I called after her, watching her join her friend at the table. I kept watching as they finished their ice cream, kept watching as the purple-haired girl's echoing laughter trailed out through the front door, and kept watching as they climbed into a white pickup truck and pulled out of the parking lot. It was in that ice cream shop that I met the love of my life. Gift. She started coming back regularly. Sometimes the girl with the brown hair would be with her, sometimes not. I preferred when she was alone, free to spark up a conversation over vanilla ice cream with purple sprinkles. I began to take notice of her outfits. One day she'd be wearing band tees and skirts, the next a simple tank top and jeans. Sometimes her violet hair would be tied up into 2 buns or hanging loose around her shoulders. There was something different about her each time she visited, whether it be her lipstick color or her earrings or her outfit, and I liked that. I decided to ask Sarah if she came around when I wasn't here, and was pleased to know she'd been by only one time in my absence, when Julia was working. Now leave me alone, Sarah said, shooing me out of the back room as she hunched over yet another stack of paperwork. Do you know how many customers we get? I don't have time to look out for each and every one. I left smiling. A few weeks after we first met, the purple-haired girl invited me to sit with her at a booth in the corner of the shop. I took an early lunch and joined her, bringing the usual for her and taking a medium chocolate for myself. As we ate, I noticed her spoonfuls were precise and certain, swirling the ice cream around in order to find the perfect mouthful. Listen, Erin, she said, her eyes finding the table. I know your name, but I realize you don't know mine. That's true, I said to her. It'd be nice to stop calling you Miss if you're going to be eating ice cream here 3 times a week. How long do you plan to keep this up before diabetes set in anyway? She giggled, and an involuntary smile crept up my face. I'd never heard her giggle before. Yeah, well, my name's Taylor. It's actually my middle name, but I prefer it. What's your first name? I asked casually. I'm not sure if we're on a secret first name basis yet. I snorted, nearly choking on my ice cream. Fine then, Taylor it is. And Taylor she was. We celebrated her 17th birthday together in September, right when school was starting. My hours would be changing soon, and we both knew it, but skirted around the topic as much as humanly possible. You're officially a junior, I announced grandly, presenting her with a pint of vanilla ice cream in a wrapped gift box. Ice cream's free of charge. I paid for it. It's a sad day when the guy from the ice cream shop gets you more presents than your friends, Taylor joked, accepting her gifts from my outstretched hands. Hey, I'm not just any guy. I tapped my name tag. I'm Erin. Can I open this now? She asked, raising her eyes to the clock. Your break started 3 minutes ago. Come around from the counter. Will do, I said, hanging my apron on its hook, then joining her by the tip jar. Let's take this to a table, shall we? When we'd settled in at our usual booth in the corner, I waited expectantly as she unwrapped her gift. She pulled the paper back to reveal a cardboard box. If you say a box, just what I wanted, joke, I will shoot you in the face, I said lightly. With what, an ice cream scooper? She bantered, smiling mischievously. Face it, Aaron, you're about as threatening as that old lady that comes in here every Tuesday. I'll have you know that Gretchen was once a WWE fighter. Is that so? Taylor grinned as she pulled back the folds, her eyes widening in surprise. A t-shirt! Your one with the Beatles was looking pretty raggedy, I told her, watching her unfold it and hold it up against her thin body. Did you wear it, what, every day since 7th grade? I threw it out last week, she murmured, turning the shirt around to look at the back. It's perfect, thank you. Wait, I said, holding up my arms to stop her from putting it back in the box. There's more. She peered down inside, then grinned. Purple sprinkles, she exclaimed happily, pulling out the brand new jar. To go with your ice cream, of course, I said. Cell phone. Taylor went out of town the week before school started, so she gave me her phone number. We've lost nearly half our revenue without you around, I said into my cell, simultaneously juggling milkshakes for an entire family. Hold on, I covered the end in mouth sorry to the customers as I rang up their credit card. Okay, I'm back. You'd think with how many free toppings you've given me that you would actually be gaining revenue, Taylor countered. Shh! I cut my hands around the receiver. The police might be listening. Oh, yes, because they're going to bust down your door and arrest you for purple sprinkle distribution, you monster. I have to go, I said, glancing up at Sarah as she approached. I'll call you back on my break. I'll be here. Bye. I hung up the phone, slipping it in my pocket as I turned to face Sarah. Emerging from your lair, boss? Haha, that cute boy charm might work on teenage girls, but not me. She crossed her arms over her chest. Personal phone calls are prohibited during working hours. Won't happen again, I assured her. When she didn't move, I sighed. Come on, Sarah, you know me. I'll let you off just this once, but there will be consequences if I catch you again, she warned, sternly staring me down. Gotcha. Now shoo, you've got work to do. I looked over at where a party bus of kids had just walked through the door, and so do I. Was the ice cream in New York as good as ours? I asked Taylor, sliding her usual order across the counter. It was good to have her back, but I didn't say so. Oh, it's not even a competition, Taylor said, her grin widening at my nasty glare. New York sucked. Phew, I gasped dramatically. You had me worried there. Let's sit, she told me, nodding her head at our booth. Can't, sorry, I said, glancing over at the clock. My break's not for 10 minutes, and I already got in trouble for talking to you on the phone. Oh, come on, she groaned. Your boss won't care. It's a ghost town in here anyway. I chewed on my lower lip, deliberating. Fine, I caved, but this was your idea, all right? Fair, she said, following me to the corner. So, spill, what exciting things happened while I was away? I got a tooth pulled. Too much ice cream. Says you. I see you got your hair re-dyed. Yep, roots were starting to grow in, she grimaced. It'd be better if I had dark natural hair, but since I'm a blonde, it just looked like someone spilled soda on my head. I'm sure it wasn't noticeable. You would know. You see me more than anyone nowadays. Yeah, and about that, I began, rubbing the back of my neck. How would you like to... I trailed off, feeling a hot blush begin to creep up my face. Maybe get coffee or something? I mean, I'd sure hate to be the cause of your addiction to ice cream. Coffee sounds great, she interrupted, and I immediately relaxed. When do you want to go? I just opened my mouth to respond when a shadow fell over the table. I looked up, my stomach plummeting down into my feet. Sarah, I murmured, trying to appear casual. What a pleasant surprise. Break's not for 5 minutes, Aaron, and it looks like you've been here for a while. She narrowed her eyes at Taylor's half-eaten cup, and I swallowed. I'm sorry, Taylor piped up, setting her spoon down on the table. It was my idea, my fault. I glanced over at her, impressed, as Sarah spoke. I don't care whose idea it was, Sarah snapped, her brows drawing together. Ever since you started coming in here, Aaron's been slacking on his work. Hey, I'm right here, I said. I'm sorry, okay? We both are. Sarah frowned. I hate to say this, but there are lots of people who'd love to have your job. I blinked, dreading her next words. Aaron, the next time you slack off, you're fired. Barbecue. Taylor didn't come on Thursday. My shift came and went, but I held out hope until the very last minute that she'd show up. It was only when I went to hang my apron up for the day that I started to get concerned. I called her phone, but it went straight to voicemail. When I called a second time, the line was picked up, but there was nothing but silence on her end. Hey, I said, still nothing. Taylor? Where are you right now? She asked, and my shoulders sagged at the sound of her voice. Walking down the sidewalk from the shop, I said. I'm on my way home. Why? Get in. A familiar white pickup truck zoomed around the corner and screeched to a stop beside me. I was so stunned that I didn't even lower the phone from my ear. Taylor, staring at me from the driver's seat, repeated into herself, Get in! I snapped back to reality, hurrying around the side of the car, then sliding into the passenger seat. Taylor? I asked, buckling my seatbelt. Let's drive, she said, slamming her foot on the gas. We drove out of town and began to cruise along the countryside, counting cows that we passed and pointing out pretty beds of flowers. Taylor, I gotta ask, I said, turning to look at where her attention was fixed on the horizon. Where were you today? She sighed. I didn't want to get you in trouble. You wouldn't have. I just have a tendency to get people in trouble, she mumbled, barely audible. I'm kind of reckless, I don't think. Don't want to make the same mistake again. My face softened. It's really all right, I told her. Sarah has good days and bad days. She owns the entire ice cream chain, so she's always stressed out. Taylor said nothing. Unhappy with her silence, I went on. Don't worry about it, really. Taylor chewed on her lip for a moment. Let's get something to eat, she said finally, and I sat back in my seat. I still wasn't convinced that she was reassured, but decided to let the matter drop for now. You like barbecue? It's all I live on. Perfect, there's a place up ahead. A few minutes later, we pulled into the parking lot of a rustic restaurant proudly boasting its name, Cuidado, and an enormous neon sign above the entrance. Taylor hopped out of the truck and headed for the doorway, her keys jiggling from her fingers as she went. I followed. Table for two, please, Taylor told the hostess, glancing back at me. We were soon seated in a worn booth near the front, surrounded by authentic Texan merchandise and mementos. Our waitress was a beach blonde woman with pigtails and a skirt that was tied up into one of those weird bow things I never quite understood, and she had a deep southern accent I could barely interpret. How are y'all doing today? She asked, not waiting for our answer before setting two menus down in front of us. My name's Cindy, and I'll be helping y'all out tonight. Can I start yous off with some drinks? Water for me, I told her. Same here, but no lemon, Taylor said, her eyes following Cindy as she nodded, then headed towards the kitchen. You don't like lemon in your water? I asked, a teasing smile working its way onto my face. Taylor turned back to me, a flicker of her old self showing through for a moment. Guess I've got more of a sweet tooth, she said, then grew serious. Look again, I just wanted you to know how sorry I am for Tuesday. Stop apologizing, I told her, waving my hand dismissively. Everything's fine. It's not, though, she said, sitting on her hands. She bowed her head over the table. You've been so nice to me, and all I've done is cause trouble. Taylor, don't give me free sprinkles anymore. I want to pay for them. If that's what you want, then... And I'll start coming around right when your break starts, so I won't be tempted to pull you away any sooner. I smiled as she went on, chattering nonstop about the rights and wrongs of things. Finally interrupting, I held up my hand to silence her. How about we do this more often, too? I suggested, gesturing around to the bustling restaurant. Hang outside my work. School's starting soon, and we'll be busy with that, but I'll be working less. I smiled at her. Sound good? She grinned softly. You really are a great guy, Aaron. One of my many perfections, I bantered, watching her twirl her purple hair around her finger. Let's talk about something else now. My real name is Anna, Taylor told me, her eyes scanning over the restaurant. And where is that damn waitress? Clara. I started seeing Taylor more regularly, but she still visited me every day I worked at the shop, which changed to Tuesdays and Wednesdays after school, as well as Saturday mornings. Maybe we can request a schedule change, Taylor was saying as she watched me pour purple sprinkles into her cup of ice cream, for chemistry or cooking or something. She glanced up at me as I handed over her order. You're taking cookie class too, right? Gotta branch out from ice cream eventually, I chirped lightly as I accepted her $5 bill. You're going to be broke if you keep this up, Taylor Anna. I told you not to call me that, and anyway, I've got nothing else to spend my money on, so why not? Can I take you out tonight? I was actually thinking you could come have dinner at my house, she suggested, leaning on the counter as I began washing the scooper. Both my parents are in town, so it's a special occasion. They work a lot? Oh, like you wouldn't believe. Did I ever tell you about the firm they run? Nope. It's like a sort of medical software distributor or some shit like that. It's all so complicated, I have no idea how they gave birth to an airhead like me. Hey now, come on. You're the smartest girl in cooking class by far. She leaned across the table to punch my shoulder. Shut up, she growled, grinning. So what do you think, you in? Yeah, I'll let my folks know when I get off work, I told her, glancing over at the customers that had just walked in. You'll pick me up? I'll be here, she promised, backing away towards the door. See you at 7:30. 7:30, I echoed. At 7:35, I was sitting in the passenger seat of Taylor's white pickup truck, watching her steer us out of the parking lot of the shop. We have to make a quick detour, she told me apologetically. I gotta pick my little sister up from the park. I didn't know you had a little sister, I said, surprised. You've seen her like a billion times, silly, she chastised. You know, the short one with the brown hair? Oh, her. I thought she was your friend. Well, we're Irish twins, so the age difference isn't much, she explained, letting go of the wheel to push her violet hair out of her face. She's been through some shit, and she's shy, so will you at least try to be nice to her? What's that tone for? I demanded, laughing. When have I ever been anything but charming? I looked out the window. What's she doing all the way out here, anyway? She spends a lot of time by herself. Taylor paused, chewing on her lip. I don't think she has any friends. That's incredibly doubtful, given that she's your sister. How many friends can I have if I spend all my time with the ice cream boy? Touché. We pulled into a dirt lot facing a rickety-looking playground where I spied a small figure sitting on the swings with her back to us. I could see the thin cord of a pair of earbuds trailing up to her ears, and she appeared to be hunched over something in her lap. Taylor opened the driver's door and stepped halfway out the car. "Hey!" she shouted. "Let's go!" The girl's shoulders went rigid, her hair flying around as she twisted in her seat to look at us. She quickly hopped off the swing, grabbed a brown messenger bag from where it had been lying beside her on the ground, then trudged towards the car. I could now see that she had been writing in a hardcover notebook, a pen sticking out of the top as a bookmark. The girl clutched the notebook to her chest as she rounded the car and opened the door to the seat behind me, tossing her things to the other side of the car before climbing inside. "Erin, this is my little sister Clara," Taylor said, gesturing between the two of us. "Clara, this is Erin." "Nice to meet you," I said, turning my head to try and look at the small girl in the backseat. "Hi," Clara peeped, reaching for her earbuds. "Don't get all plugged in yet," Taylor ordered her, and Clara dropped the earbuds like they were hot, folding her hands in her lap as she stared down at her shoes. "Erin's going to be eating dinner with us tonight." Clara said nothing, so I spoke. "I'm really excited to meet your parents," I said. "I heard they own a medical firm?" "You work at the ice cream shop, right?" Clara asked softly, barely audible. I opened my mouth, glanced at Taylor, then closed it. "That's right," Taylor answered for me, driving out of the lot. "I've been going over there a lot lately to keep him company." "Mom and Dad won't like that," Clara whispered, her shoulders hiking up, and Taylor's brow drew together into a line. "Plug in, little runt," she growled, and Clara immediately pounced on her earbuds, sticking them into the jack of a small iPhone. "Mom and Dad are going to love Erin, right?" "Right," Clara murmured noncommittally, pulling out her notebook to resume her writing. The rest of the drive was spent in silence, one thought ringing out clear in my mind. That was weird. So that was chapters 1 through 5 of my book, See Her. If you liked it, like I said, it is now available for purchase. Sorry if I suck at reading, but I did write it when I was 15, so my newer stuff is better. But I'm still really proud of it. It's a huge accomplishment to have it on Amazon. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!